There's still some connection, but maybe we can slowly start our introduction. So, hi everyone. Hi Lisa.
Hi.
Glad to have you with us all today. Today we are doing this webinar on our AI Copilots. So we called it the all-in-one IP solution that supercharges patent and trademark productivity. So that's a big, a big mission. Now we have to, we have to seriously show the capacities. So glad to be with Lisa today, and I think we're starting right now. So maybe simply first by introducing ourselves. That can be a nice step. Maybe, Lisa, I'll let you start with your own presentation, and then I'll do mine.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lisa Lepore. As Mari mentioned, we are going to talk about Qthena today. My background is I've been at Questel for 6 years now. Prior to being at Questel, I worked for Boeing in the IP department, and I have a couple of degrees in engineering, so a bachelor's and a master's. I have a couple of degrees in law, so I'm a licensed attorney. My LLM is in IP, and my doctorate is in business intelligence, and I used patent data analytics to do that. Back to you, Marie.
Great. Yeah. So we have our experts here. And I'm Marie Fage, based in France, as maybe you can hear, and I'm leading the client solution specialist team on the trademark BU side. So at Questel, we have divided, by, maybe you don't all know, but by patent BU, innovation BU, business unit, and trademark business unit, so as to get experts for each domain. So we are on our side, on the trademark side, and in my team, especially focusing on SaaS, so software as a service. And of course, we have also services teams. So we all have our specialties. I think I've also been at Questel for 6 years, 6 or 7 even. And I entered assisting our clients in the support teams. So this is for our introduction. We will go to our agenda. So we want to focus on specific use case to try and make this presentation a bit lively. But first, of course, we need a basic introduction of the tool we are going to speak about. There are several copilots at Questel. Here we are focusing on Qthena. So what is it? What does it contain? How does it interconnect with the IPMS? That's the first part. And then we will, with Lisa, have this fictitious scenario that we are working in a corporate company, shoemakers, and you will see our use cases while we use on my end the trademark skills of Qthena. And for Lisa's, as for a background, you have understood the patent skills. So that's our plan for today. Maybe before I go into the details, I just want to remind everyone here that you will receive the slides, you will receive the recording. So if ever a slide stopped, I don't know, automatically, if ever any one of you does not have the time to stay until the end, no worries. Oh, my slide is going. It's the second time that the tool is doing this. So I can't see my own slide. And unhappily, I know the content, but you don't know the content. So I'm sorry, there's one slide I will have to read without you being able to review it, because it's the tool that removes it. So it was a one-pager showing what is contained in Qthena. So Qthena is an all-in-one prosecution workflow, and it serves for aggregating data, collaborating also. It's AI-powered, obviously. We use in this system at the moment OpenAI and Gemini by Google. We will go back on this specific topic later, and we know there's a lot of questions around it. It contains, as you have understood, both patent and trademark skills. The idea is to train the tool to kind of think. Of course, it doesn't think, it's a tool, but kind of think like a patent lawyer or a trademark lawyer, so as to give relevant insight. It serves to review, to annotate, to documents, but also to chat with the LLM, the AI LLM that is inside. So you use your own documents. We will see that, of course, we use the private versions of those LLMs. That's another very important point. It includes OCR capacity, so you will see that especially with Lisa, because we know on the patent side, you have a lot of documents to review. That's one of the main difficulties, I would say. So the OCR capacities and side-by-side PDF comparison is really crucial. You get also unique data and insights, and this is helped by the fact that we interconnect also our databases. So by interconnecting our own databases, Markify, for example, it's going to come very quickly, the connection, you can load content from our database inside Qthena. Collaborate, of course, another important point, collaboration. And collaboration inside Qthena platform and collaboration with the IPMS. If you are using Equinox, we are going to show you how. And lastly, but I already mentioned it, the fact that we are using secure and private versions of the AI bots, LLMs that we are using. They are not trained on your data. They contain the latest updates. So this is the last very crucial part we wanted to mention before we dive into the other slides. Now, this slide that has started popping up before I wanted it is the slide on Equinox, the IP management system. So first thing, maybe some of you know it, but we have several systems for IP management at Questel. So there is one that we are going to see today. There's another one that is built on Salesforce, and our roadmap is quite equivalent as for interconnection. It's just that sometimes one happens before another, that's all. But that's same idea, same logic, and same focus for the company. So in our IP management systems, of course, you find the basic features, also document management, correspondence, collaboration. You also get the connection with our famous databases, so Orbit Intelligence for the patent part, for Lisa and Markify on my end on the trademark side. A connection also to our law engine. You have the connection with the services that we offer at Questel, renewals, annuities, etc. I don't go into all the details. The possibility to connect workflow tools such as brand proposal or invention disclosure. So we could say those workflow tools that are there for pre-filing flows, and post-filing you use your IPMS, if I simplify. And the part that we really want to focus on today, the possibility to interconnect with our AI Copilots. I really say interconnect because at least as of today, that will for sure evolve over time, but those AI capacities that we are showcasing are in this Copilot system, but we interconnect those. So I don't go again on the list of what we can do with it. We will go into details with Lisa, but I hope it drafts a good overall picture of it. I don't know, Lisa, if you think I forgot an important part here.
No, I think you got everything.
Yeah, great. So another introductory slide before we show you the tool. It's why I speak about AI, always AI, because yes, we know. But the first answer is because you asked for it, and we will show that in numbers. So obviously, you may want to use AI, and even some would want it to be mandatory. So I'm not inventing this. This is part of the results we received from a survey that we ran this year. Each year, Questel runs really huge IP surveys, and we try to spread those surveys, share them both with patent, designs, trademark professionals, and get insights on how you are working, what you may want to improve, what are the worries outside budget, because budget is always a worry. And here this year, there was this big Outlook research report focusing on AI, a bit like last year, but with a different angle and different questions. And one of the things that was, I think, even a bit surprising for me is this, what you see on the right. So 86% of our respondents said that they would prefer the IP suppliers to use AI tools. So 86, I think it's really a huge number. I expected a bit less. 74% for the selected tasks only. So they will target, I don't know, trademark search, claim chart generation on the patent side, but maybe not everything. And 12% would even want the use of AI tools in their company or firm to be even mandatory. That's maybe the biggest surprise. So I think it answers the question, why are we focusing on AI? You are, we are. Then second, we think that much can be achieved as long as the models are trained efficiently by IP professionals in all security and confidentiality. So whatever will make us and you more efficient is an achievement. And maybe we could cite a lot more reasons, but yeah, Questel is an innovative company, so we want to innovate. That's part of. It's not only innovating because we're not the only ones in this sector or doing this kind of copilots. We just think and hope we do it well, and that we focus on the parts that are really the most important for you, because we listen a lot to our clients. So that's part of it. Part on the models that we use. So I cited before, you will see it in some of our slides. We have OpenAI model and Gemini model in Qthena. Maybe I could even say we have them at the moment. Why? Because we consider we are AI model agnostic. It could evolve over time. We could add some, we could remove some, we could change. We just make sure that we use the best at the moment that is available. So at the moment you can choose, at least on patent side, you can choose one or the other. But both are used in their enterprise private versions. What does it mean? It means, and it's the really first point, maybe you don't want to go further if we don't clarify that your data is secure. It's anonymously used in the system, and it's not being used to train any algorithm. So your data, your client data is secure. And there's a second layer of security, is that when you are using our systems, professional systems at Questel, you are also using it in an anonymous way, on top of the fact that it's already private version, in the sense that Google or OpenAI will not know who is sending a query, because who is sending the query, it's us. Your email, your name, your company is not tracked, is not known. They just receive the request in this secure version. So I think it's not even needed to go further in the use cases if we don't clarify this very first step. As for the Outlook research report, I wanted to add a bit more info. And then for those who are interested, anyway, we will share this report. So it will be sent via our newsletter. It will be put also on our website. But we saw this, like 77% of organizations are very enthusiastic about AI. And why is really the question. So first, to save time and costs, because also they consider, like us, that it's an inevitable progression. They think also it can add new efficiencies. So really improve the way you work, not only do it quicker, and also there's a part of curiosity, which is quite human. And the last mention is that 33% of you as a whole, IP professionals, consider that you would save at least 25% budget using AI. So by saving time, for sure. So that's the last part on this introduction, and then we will go really in our use case. So let's present our use case. So with Lisa, we are both working on your side on the patent IP team, and on my side on the trademark for Schuko. And Schuko is a company producing and selling shoes worldwide. Maybe they exist, I hope not, because honestly, I don't think we really searched. They have a new product to bring to market and need to proceed with both the trademark searching and filing, and with patenting a new type of fabric for sneakers or other wearables that they will use for this absolutely revolutionary product. So it's the start of the journey for this company. All the steps you have to do. We will not cover them all, it's not possible. But on the trademark side, we will try to cover how you can get help from these AI copilots on the trademark search report review, and on the goods and services classification drafting. And then Lisa will go into the details of the patent use case. So let's start. We called it, how can the AI Copilot assist? That's really the word, assist, not replace. That's an important part of it. So we all know that doing such review is not the first step. On the trademark side, you would first have to find a suitable name or suitable logo for your trademark. We won't enter into that. First, it's not an option that we have in Qthena. And second, just we want to cover some specific use cases. So we can't fit all in one presentation, and we jump to the step at which we already have suggested names and logos. We already are performing the searches, and we want to proceed with those searches review. For that, in the use case, you will see that I will be using 3 tools. One is Equinox and the IPMS. It is what you see here on the right. We just created a case for trademark clearance search. The tool is quite flexible because you can create the kind of case you want in the system. So it can be a search project, it can be whatever you want, and the layout is also customizable. So that's what we did on our demo account. We have a trademark clearance search project because we want to keep track of our search report in the system. Once again, it's a scenario, it's an example, not mandatory. Not all of you will log their search reports in their IPMS. So that's what we decide to do here. And as for the name, honestly, I played a lot with it, even if it was a scenario, fictive scenario, Lisa. I couldn't help pretending and inventing a lot of names. I ran into all the complexity that people who really generate names run, meaning many very brilliant ideas, but that were already taken. So I ended up taking one that really does exist. You will see it, but I found only one identical, which is a miracle. So I decided to go with Skylo. I thought like Skylo for sneakers, it could really be, you could think of something modern, bringing you high, but at the same time you stay on the earth with the low. So that was the brilliant idea that came out of my brain. And in this fictive scenario, because I work alone, I agree with myself. So I run only one search, and I put my only unique one search in my IPMS. So you see, I simplify things for myself a lot. But of course, if you were to have more complex scenario, maybe you don't know, but we are building bulk search in Markify that will help. So I have created in my IPMS the kind of shell to receive my search report and to keep track of who is involved, which trade business unit is concerned by this new project that I have. And I then turn to my search tool. In our example, of course, we use our own. So we are using here Markify, but it could be any other search tool, because what we will be showing you is how to use your search report to review it through Qthena. So I will not be spending too much time on those slides for Markify. I just want to say, because it's for shoes, I selected class 25. I could have added more. It's really simple. It's a scenario. So I use Markify platform. I search for Skylo in class 25. I directly see in my report that I've got one that is strictly identical, and I've got 2,522 that are potentially high risk, as classified by our algorithm. So what does it mean? I have to dive into many results, and that's a reality. Let's be really transparent, and that's also even written here. Whatever the option, at some point you often end up, either you restrict a lot, you don't use algorithms, you restrict, and you end up missing really relevant trademarks, or you use algorithms, and of course they will bring you very relevant variation, but also what you will consider some noise. And that's normal. I think you can improve algorithms, but that's still no one will find the exact perfect list for them. So what will take time is the review of those results, but also the drafting of comments on those results. Be you internal corporate, or be you a firm working for your client, it's exactly the same logic and same difficulty. Just for your info here on the, I will not reuse it in Qthena, but I added in Markify the linguistic analysis because it's part of it. So it can tell me if there are dictionary words, if some of the trademarks that I get could have a negative meaning in other countries, that's the kind of stuff you could ask Qthena also, really. So that's what I did for this search. in the search platform, before I go to Qthena, of course, I will do a preliminary review. Why? There are several reasons, but the first reason is that when you will be sending your search report for review to Qthena, you can't send 2,000 pages, just why? Because otherwise you are losing the AI model with it. So you would have to restrict a bit, focus a bit on what is the most interesting for you, and then use Qthena to help you draft your comments and your review. That's the idea behind. So here in the system, I use all the different possibilities that we have in Markify or in other tools, like, for example, putting my own colors, putting even my own comments, and I could ask Qthena to take into account my comments also. So I can put my comments, I can search via the filters. Here, for example, it was Skylo. I filter, can you show me everything that contains sky? So that's the kind of action that I would do in my search system, so as to do my first review and select what I think is potentially relevant for me. I wrote here, maybe, I don't know if it's very related to Qthena, but you have also the owner identity card that can help you assess the company size. Why do I say that? Because I like to insist on the fact you are doing first your search in the tool that you use for searches, and then you will be using Qthena to help you review. So whatever insight you also gain from the previous tool you are using, this one is helpful. You can retrieve it, use it in your comments, and then reuse in Qthena. So here, for example, by looking at the company side, I saw, okay, this company, Skylo, I saw they have only one trademark. So of course, I think maybe if I were really Shuko, maybe we could find an arrangement. That's part of the questions that cannot be completely and 100% answered by a tool. You have to analyze. Last slide before I really go into Qthena. Here I wanted just to show examples of where you may want to use Qthena, but when you are looking at your results. So I've got two examples, but there could be several. Here I have searched for Skylo, and one of the results is Skyo. There were several. I don't even know if, I think in some countries you would pronounce Kyo, in others Skyo. So here, out of my 5 letters trademark, there are 4 that are present. Would that be considered similar by a PTO? And maybe would the pronunciation differ much? That depends on the country. Is there a conceptual difference also between Skylo, Skyo? So that's the kind of questions I may want to ask Qthena. And another example below, and they were really below in my report. Here you see I have used some highlights, exactly as you have, Lisa, in Orbit Intelligence. We have the highlights in Markify to really instantly review the goods and services that are protected for this trademark. And I see that it like it burns my eyes. There's so much. So clearly those goods and services are very close compared to what is of interest to me. So that may be also, would the trademarks be considered really similar based on the goods and services, even if they are not that similar? So that's part of the questions that I may ask. In your tool, normally, I guess, all such tools should be able to allow PDF. You can export in PDFs. Why do I say that? Very important, because of course in Markify you have all formats, but Qthena will read PDFs, will work on PDFs and Word very soon. So this is the 2 formats that we will be focusing on. And then, so I have 2 options for creating my project in Qthena. Here we really come to the Qthena part. So either I simply click on create a trademark project. We call it, so as you may have understood, we have in Qthena what we call skills. And the skills are dedicated to special actions that you need to perform. So here my action is risk assessment on my trademark search report. So the skill is called trademark risk assessment. You see EU IPO, you see US PTO. That's also another important part. We try to be the most compliant, that's the word I was looking for, to comply with the rules from the PTOs. And we have 2 main PTOs here. It's EU IPO, US PTO. It doesn't mean you could not use it for another PTO, but in this case, you take into account that you use it as a kind of generic. So Lisa, generic is maybe not the best word, but I think you understand what I mean. So not this PTO specific, but still would get relevant results. And over time, we could augment it. I mean, if we have a lot of requests for a specific PTO, that's exactly the kind of thing that can evolve. So I can create my project directly in Qthena. I could also go in Equinox, and from Equinox, I have an option, you will see that a bit more later, to create a Qthena project. So I could go on my trademark run search project that you have seen. I have loaded my search report here. I create a Qthena project, and because they are linked, it finds my PDF automatically. It's synchronized. So this is how I would be creating my project. As soon as you select your skill in Qthena, the tool is smartly telling you what to do. It's guiding you. So it will tell you, okay, you are now using risk assessments. Can you please tell me what is your proposed trademark? And where should I find the trademarks I should compare it with? So either you type manually another list of one or several trademarks in the system directly in the command box or command line, you load a report as I prepared here. So here I said, okay, this is Kylo, this is a word mark, there's no image, and etc. So you give really the elements, the context, so the tool can compare as you would do as yourself. And once you have done that, you will see that Qthena will start analyzing your search results and provide structured feedback. It will not provide feedback on each and every result line by line, at least not in this mode that I'm showing. But it will find what it considers the most relevant and give feedback on it. Then you can chat with it. So you can ask, okay, maybe this specific result, what do you think about this result? Do you think the goods and services are really similar? The pronunciation could be close. If we give some example, here we have for the first one, it's strictly identical. So of course it is written, there is a high risk of refusal, at least in India, yeah. Consider an alternative mark for India or narrowing the scope of goods or maybe agreeing with this company. So this is the example of feedback you can get. I really insist on the fact that you can ask, you are chatting, it's a bot, it's just a secure version of it. So you could also ask translations. The tool translates. So normally if you're using a professional search tool, you already have translation included. But if not, or if you are provided with a report that you didn't produce yourself, the tool contains translation mode. So that's another very important part. I hope I'm not going too quick, but I really want you, Lisa, to have time afterwards. So please tell me if I'm too long. Trademark searching, I will go a bit quicker here. So another reason why it's really nice to be using Qthena is the fact that on the documents, so here you remember we loaded a search report, you can not only see the documents, but you can comment them, annotate them. So, and you can also search inside here. For example, I selected Skio and I asked, please show me everything that contains Skio in the report. That's why you see it on the right here. And I highlighted it, I put a comment, and because I'm using my connection with Equinox, I can see in Equinox, because it's synchronized, the comment and the annotation. Nice way to collaborate. If you want to collaborate inside Qthena, you use the sharing manager, and here you can use your internal collaborators or even invite guest users. So that is external users. You would decide if they have the right to comment or only read your content. So in our scenario, remember that we use the IPMS to centralize our search projects. So here, personally, I would load my load, or if they are already connected, it would come automatically in my document tab. We show it later a bit more in details. So that's, I think that's the idea for the first, that's it. For the first trademark skill that we wanted to speak of, there are 3 trademark skills that we are really focusing on. The first one is the one that I tried to showcase. Then, of course, without trying, it's a bit difficult. Our advice would be to try. The second one is this one that I'm going to show, goods and services drafting with AI assistance. And the third one is office action reply that you will see on the patent side with Lisa. So I'm going to be quick on goods and services drafting, but because we have those generative AI that can really produce relevant information based on what you provide, important, here you can ask help of Qthena to draft goods and services. So how will it work? First, I just kind of a reminder of what you need to do when you draft goods and services. You need to check prior lists of goods and services, suggest similar ones, avoid previously rejected ones, respect jurisdiction, and that's all the points that Qthena will help you with. Markified Data API, as I told you, it's gonna come. So we are gonna have it, and it will make things even easier when you want to compare existing trademarks by being able to loading them. So for the moment, what we are gonna show you is rather you are loading a list of trademarks, but then you will be able to load them even automatically. So how would it work? In Qthena, you upload a PDF, remember, containing your previously registered trademarks and their goods and services descriptions, later markified. It gives the basis to Qthena. We say your goods and services, like you decide which ones you want to use, but in general, the past ones you have been using are nice, but you can find equivalent ones. And Qthena will ask you, when you select the skill goods and services drafting, a few questions to understand the background, focus correctly on the task that you started. So it will ask you in which jurisdiction you want to find. That's one of the main questions. And of course, as always, is it word, figurative, combined? What are the intended classes, goods of interest? But here you give a raw description because what you want is that the tool provides it for you. And here, based on your inputs, so Qthena will review the previously registered trademarks and the goods and services to generate what we call a first high-quality draft. And it's written, I insist on it, ready for your final review and refinement. We are not saying, and you should not be saying, okay, it's okay, I take it, I copy, I paste, it's done, I don't read. No, that's really not what we are advising and how we are selling our tools, So you get here, so here, sorry, it's not my shoe, it's a tennis racket. It's just I didn't do it myself, so I confess. So we have here an example where we were needing some racket covers for in class 28. We are not in the shoes on class 25. There's also some recommendations and next steps that would be provided by the system. And once again, you can interact. So in this example, it's written, okay, I understand, but please expand the descriptions. I want more relevant terms for the provided examples, and you can be specific. Maybe look a bit more at the trademarks that were about tennis rackets and paddle rackets. And that's the kind of things you would be doing. And of course, the more context you provide, the more tailored and helpful Qthena draft will become. It's as if you were speaking with someone and explaining to this person what is really your intention. So that's the same logic, but it will really search quickly inside your content to draft this goods and services. Great. I think that's okay, Lisa, based on the time we had for the introduction. Integration with Equinox, I will be very quick. Why? Because I already showed partially, and you will even see a bit more after. So it's only one slide, but to really explain, for those of you who are already using the system, it's good to really see it. So there are two versions. The connection is at the moment on the document level. So either in Qthena, you can import Equinox documents into a Qthena project. So how? Simply by going inside the upload management, you have an Equinox button, you click it, and you type in the case reference of Equinox. It recognizes the case reference and it imports the PDFs and soon Word documents. And the second option, as said before, you are in Equinox, and it's the example that you see at the bottom. And in Equinox, you click Create, Open Qthena Project. It will open a project directly in Qthena for you to work in. So both ways are possible. here, when you select we have the example here. In Qthena, we have type to case reference. We see several documents. I select only the ones I want to load because maybe not all of them I need to use in Qthena. So no need to overcharge it. And this is your part, Lisa, on the patent side.
Okay, thank you, Marie, for all of the very keen information on trademarks and using trademark searching. At this point, we're going to switch over. We're going to talk about the patent skills. So if you would be so kind, Marie, as to go to the next chart, please.
Yeah, of course.
So Qthena really started by a European patent attorney. He was very frustrated with using all the different tools that he needed to be able to complete his job. And so what he was really looking to do was to find a solution that would bring all of those, if you will, tasks into one platform. The tool will automatically retrieve the file wrapper contents from either the European or US Patent Office. That will include the official communications and all of the prior art. So what that's going to mean is that you're going to type in an application number or a publication number, and the tool will automatically retrieve all of the information that you'll need to begin working for prosecution. For an invention, you're going to start with a blank project, and you'll just need to upload either the invention disclosure or the drawings, etc. So with that, Marie, next slide, please.
Yeah.
So I've jumped directly into the tool. So this is Qthena. What you're seeing on the left-hand side is a official communication. It's a non-final rejection. What you see in the middle in the black is where I've annotated by putting dialog bubbles, if you will, on that non-final rejection. So the point here is that you've got the ability to access all of the documents that you need. You can arrange them on your desktop. You can easily get back to them. You can share them, as Marie mentioned. You can share the views either with maybe the inventor or with your client or with your outside counsel or with, if you're an attorney, maybe with the examiner even. But the point here is that you're arranging the documents. Now, when you share it, potentially with an inventor, the inventor can come in and respond to those little dialog boxes, maybe provide more information or more insight, or maybe you could just annotate it for your colleague, maybe an assistant who's helping you. On the right-hand panel, what you see is that basically a table of contents. It's a list of all the prior art documents. You're going to see where I've renamed them D0 for my current application, D1 and D2 for two of my prior art documents, the ones that I'm going to most focus on. On the very far right-hand side, you see the drawing. Basically, what I've done is I've searched for the control module. It's something that the examiner spent a lot of time rejecting this particular invention, as we mentioned on shoes, rejected for the control module being an obvious rejection in combination with D1 and D2. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to quickly find it in my current application. And in this point, what I did is I paused on the drawing. Next slide, please. As far as description claims, description drafting, I'm going to go now to a patent application draft. I've started with an invention disclosure. The tool has the ability to fill in the blanks to create a patent application. What you're noticing on the right-hand side is where I filled in the core inventive aspects. So basically, I've copied and pasted in either the description of the invention. If I've got a first independent claim and I want to do that, I could certainly paste it into that box also, or maybe even an abstract. And also some ideas for dependent claims. So in this particular example, it's a shoe, it's got fabric. Inside the fabric, there are little lines that are like bladders, and inside those bladders are liquid. And basically what the shoe fabric will do is where you need more space, let's say that you've got a wider foot, it'll move the liquid to where there's less space needed and kind of fill it in, making for a more comfortable shoe. The inventive aspects could be humidity sensors, maybe GPS locators, etc. Based on the information that I copied and pasted into those blanks, what you're seeing on the middle section with the light blue is where I've asked a question next to the pink L, where I've asked it to draft the first independent claim, and the second time I've asked it to add dependent claims 2 through 10. Based on the information that I pasted into the form, Qthena will respond with those claim sets. Next slide, please. And from here, I can continue to ask Qthena to fill in the rest of the patent application. I can go section by section. I can copy and paste those sections over to the right-hand side. I can edit them. I could highlight them. I can copy and paste them over into the middle section. What you're noticing is on the right, it's written different sections. I've copied them into the built-in editor. In the middle section is where I'm continuing to ask Qthena questions. I wanted just to draw your attention to there's a prompt library that I can use so I don't have to be a prompt engineer. I've got a microphone. I can speak my questions directly into the prompt box. And if necessary, if I need to upload additional images, I can do that as well. Next slide, please.
Microphone, I think, is great, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
We're not used yet, but the ones coming after us, they are.
Another thing that you would expect AI could do and do it very efficiently and effectively are summaries of my different documents. So at this point in that table of contents, you may have noticed that I had a current application, I had some prior art, I might even have family members in there, I may have uploaded maybe a product specification, brochures, etc. I can ask for summaries of those documents, including key inventive aspects, problem solved, additional information. This kind of harkens back to what Marie was describing for trademarks. It's also very similar for patents. Next slide, please.
You're right. I didn't. Yeah. Document summaries, whatever the document, in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So, and in this example, what I wanted to do is go deeper into the document. So at this point, instead of a summary, which, by all accounts would be very high level, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on certain areas where the tool has come back and said, look, you really need to build out more information in your application to overcome this non-final rejection. It's telling me that I really need to talk more about specific sensors, maybe some control algorithms, etc. But I need more detail. So I've asked for it to find me quotes in my current application, maybe paragraph numbers and or figure numbers. I want to be certain that I've got that subject matter already built into my current application. And so I want it to find it and retrieve it for me. And as you can see, it can do that very effectively. Next slide, please. At this point, I can even ask it to amend the claims and write responses to the office actions. It can write a response to an office action. It can write an email to an inventor. It could ask for more information. It can be very specific. On the left-hand side, you're seeing that it's made a recommendation as to how I can amend Claim 1 in light of the suggestions that it created as a result of that non-final office action. On the right-hand side, it's drafted a response to the office action. Now, in this particular response, I've asked it to only focus on the 103 rejections and ignore the other rejections. This particular one had 102 rejections as well. But what I wanted you to see is that you can get very specific. Now, I would normally just send something that addressed only one set of the rejections, but I wanted you to basically be able to see how it would look in terms of crafting the response. And with that, can you go to the next slide, please? I see we're going to run out of time. It can also,
As usual,
yeah,
we speak a lot.
it can create claim charts. You're seeing that on the left-hand side. I've asked it to compare my current application element by element of my first independent claim to my first prior art document. And so it'll work through that. And then I can go to either the dependent claims or I could go to the second prior art document, etc. It builds it in a table format, which I really like. I can copy and paste it into Excel, etc. And it can also translate. The translation here, I've asked for it to translate my first independent claim into Chinese. It uses the same translation system that the European patent offices use, so it's going to be a very thorough and accurate translation. And if you can, go to the next slide, please. And it can see inside the drawing. So now obviously this is not a shoe, but I just wanted to put sort of a quick example in here where we've asked the tool to look at the drawings. It did not have access to words. It only had access to patent application drawings. And so we asked it, is there somebody who's talking to a wristband? And it identified the figures. It also knew it was a smartwatch, and it even was able to see that the user was asking about the weather and receiving a response. It sees a microphone and it sees the clock. I know you can't see the clock, it's in another image, but the idea here is that it can visually see in the drawings. That's going to be very important. Next slide, please. Back to you, Marie.
Yeah, it's kind of a repetition. We just wanted to show both examples. So here you see in Equinox, we have done the trademark clearance search project case, and here we have the invention disclosure case with our specific layout and exactly the same logic that documents are synchronized, and I can see my highlights, comments directly in the document section if I use the connection. That was quick, but I think that was interesting. I learned a few ones on the patent side, Lisa. So for me, that's very enlightening. The rest of the slides, I think we can go quickly over because the most important is that you will get them and you can read them quietly while at work. But we just wanted to highlight again security part. So here you called it, Lisa, security. We have it, but the internet does not, and that's very important. Especially don't confuse OpenAI enterprise solution with ChatGPT that you can find for free online. It's really not comparable, neither in terms of data, updated data that they use, nor in terms of the data privacy. So it's really a clear distinction has to be made. So our systems are built on ISO 2701, SOC 2, and other certified infrastructure. We, of course, have encryption, data security, GDPR compatibility. So that's, I think, the most important part as for security. And here you have even a bit more information on the guidelines. I guess now we are all educated on AI enough, even when we are not developing it, to know that there is no worldwide agreed on guidelines on the use of AI. So here, Qthena team did something great. I think they really took the time to review all the guidelines of the EPI, European Patent Institute, and we can really say we comply with all those guidelines. And because there is no worldwide agreed on system, we think they are really complete and they correspond to what, you know, when you check the guidelines of this or that office or a big corporation, it goes back to the same principles. So you see that, of course, there's security, but not only, there's also the choice, establishing client preferences, responsibility for work quality, ensuring confidentiality, of course, communication about the use of AI, meaning being clear on when you are using it or not, and when you are using it, how are you using it. So fair and transparent pricing. I think on that we at Questel we are always quite transparent. So this is a quick view, but you could get more if you are interested with full documentation on those guidelines. And I think we really reached the end, maybe as the conclusion. What I hope you have seen from here, you have seen the main skills that we wanted to show you. But once again, you could use the system for many other situations. I've got to review a licensing agreement. I want to check the terms of the licensing agreement. I want to check, I don't know. I don't have all ideas right now, but I mean, you really can have numerous use cases. We just focus on the main ones that get detailed skills in the system. So that was our goal with Lisa. Lisa, I don't know if you want to say a few words before we say goodbye, because sorry, but for the questions, we will not have time. We will reply to them afterwards. We clearly ran out of time.
Yeah, thank you everybody for your time. We really appreciate it. Yes, we offer free trials, usually for 2 weeks. Having said that, we use Google Gemini, we use OpenAI's GPT. Notice I did not say chat. Those were a couple of the questions that I see over here in the chat. The rest of them, as Marie said, we won't be able to get to due to a time constraint, but we thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Lisa.